It's Denim Radio! Yeah! It's time to share the news. What is high denim gonna do? We'll host some interviews and crank our favorite tunes with you. We're tuning in. We're tuning in. We're tuning in to Denim Radio. Denim Radio! All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back once again to Denim Radio. This is episode 002. That's right. We're not a one and done operation. We're back for more embarrassment for you and us. And who are we? I am Josh, one of your hosts, and over here we got Ozone. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good.
He's doing very well, and you know why? Because we've completed our second interview. Yes, earlier today we had a little chat with old Robbie Morön. He's been very involved with this label since not day one, but probably day 42-ish, something like
I'm good
that.
with that.
He got on board. He's been very helpful with helping us recruit bands and giving us music to put out. And yeah, he also does a lot of art for us. He's the brains behind Head Cat, our little guy, even though I'm not really a cat guy, but here we are using a cat as our mascot. But I don't mind him in cartoon form. Just stay off me. Quit meowing at me, you weirdos. But
I've seen you cuddle cats.
there's alcohol involved. Yeah. So it's been, I don't know, less than a week since we did our last episode. I don't know what we're aiming for. We're going to try to, at least within 2 weeks, try to pump out episodes. I guess it depends on what we're up to. As of right now, we got a little bit of time to get some shit done. And we kind of want to get this off the ground because, I mean, we didn't want to tease people with only one episode and then just disappear for a while. So we gotta keep the momentum going. What do you say?
Keep that centrifugal force going. Yep.
Ooh, centrifugal. We're not being
Centrifugal.
frugal with our centrifugal. But yeah, what a lot's happened since April 14th or whatever we dropped the first episode. I mean, we got it on most of the streaming platforms, I believe. It's hard for me to check because I don't use most of them. Like, I know it's on Spotify, I know it's on Apple, I know it's on Amazon, I know it's on iHeartRadio. If there's anywhere else that we're missing, please let us know and we will rectify that immediately. But we got it out there. We got it out to the masses. So I don't know what else we can do to get people to listen, but some of you did, and we're very grateful. I don't know. Did you get any feedback? I got a few comments from people checking out the show.
Reiki told me I was grumpy.
You sound grumpy. And then the picture I chose too, you look grumpy too. He's like, so grumpy, Ozone. That's the grump calling the grumpy. You guys having to grump off in the tour van?
Yeah, we do have good grump offs.
You do.
That's for sure. But he's always sick, so he gets an upper hand.
That's true.
Beats me at the grump wars.
It's because he doesn't sleep. If he's not playing in bands, he's magicking till all hours of the night. His retirement package.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been
His
busy.
hobby that makes him money. I'm not going to knock that.
Hey, we make a few pennies. We got a few pennies to rub together in the trash ambulance. Maybe not the label, but we're getting there, folks. We're getting there. We're investing in all of you because we love it. And the bands are pretty good. You should check them out. What came out last week / this week? It's definitely been
Last
some new
week
stuff.
/ this week on Tuesday of, oh no, my calendar's still in March. April 11th was Regal Fowls EP. 1-2 Punch. So check it out.
Everybody's favorite Banff blonde bimbos. I don't think any of them are blonde, but they're it's good to get them on board. Definitely be getting them on the show if they're down. Jerry, Mitch. Bass guy. Should have made sure.
Blondie.
Well, there's the blondie. How you doing, bud? Yeah, what else do we got?
Not released yet, but probably will be before this is out on April 18th. We've got Boo Radley's EP. Good night for now.
It actually is out right now.
Oh yeah, it is out right now, isn't it? Live as of within the last hour.
Yeah, and I guess it's probably came and went by the time I get this. Well, who knows? I might surprise you all and get it out earlier, but they're doing their EP release show at the Neverland Boutique with Down the Barrel, Speed Control, Terrible People, and What's the Plan? So it's a nice 420 release show. So, I mean, if this comes out too late, I hope you went and supported. And if you're hearing it and it's not April 20th yet, then get your buns down to the Neverland Boutique. You don't want to miss that. Boo Radley has their debut EP out, and we couldn't be prouder of those little guys.
It's been too long since they released anything. The only song on Spotify right now is "Evil and Rage," was on the Halloween comp. It's a great tune, but been waiting for this EP for a long time.
That's true.
Good on you, Cam.
To the point where we might have been annoying him, like, "Hey, psst, psst."
Yeah.
Slide into his DMs. You done, Cam? You done? I hope.
Where's those songs? Where's those tunes?
So yeah, that's what we got. And like you said last time, we got old Ramey's. Is it just the first single coming out next week?
No, I think it's the whole kabang.
No, we're not even fucking around. We're just unleashing it on the world.
He's got another one in the back burner already. We didn't have time for a waterfall release. That guy just, I don't know. I've never met someone that has so much music that he can write. It's awesome.
He's La Machine. Get it? Because he's French.
I don't know what the French word for machine is, but the first half was right.
I probably got the masculine, feminine thing wrong, but you know what? Bottom line is the dude puts out a lot of music, and it's good for us because we get to listen to it and then be a part of it. So check it out. But yeah, I don't know. As for trash, you can catch us April 29th at the VAT. We're playing with All the Time Everywhere, Chiliocosm, and Balderdash from Edmonton. So there's a lot of pressure on us as the Red Deer guys to bring people out. So hopefully some people come and show up because I think regardless, it's going to be a fun time. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be good. I love All the Time Everywhere. One of my favorite Alberta bands. So
another band.
Pumped to play with them.
Yeah, so it won't be long before we're down south in Costa Rica. So get your fill of us. We'll be gone. We might not come back alive. We'll see.
Maybe you can take your digital recorder thing and we'll do a poolside podcast with Reiki.
We could probably just do it on our phone. It'd probably be good enough, but we'll see. Yep. We'll see.
I mean, we scream qualities.
We don't have a ton of cargo room, but we'll see what we can get down there. I think it would be pretty hilarious to do some interviews down there, but who knows? We'll see what we can pull off. But luckily for you folks at home, we have done an amazing interview right here in Canada. So as we mentioned before, you want to give him a little bit of an introduction?
He's the best Robbie Morön from Calgary, the one and only. He's played in many high-end denim releases, but Burning Nichols, Robbie Morön, the Moröns. He's also sang a few Trash Saturday songs too. That's
true. We actually forgot to ask him about that, but he played a cop on our song "Stalk in the Park." So should we?
And he also sang a line in "So Long RB" too. Leapfrog.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. I forgot about that one. That's kind of an overlooked EP because we didn't do a physical of that one, but it's out there. So if you haven't checked out Leapfrog, I suggest you do so immediately. But yeah, let's play a couple songs to get right into the interview because it was kind of a doozy. So we don't need more dead air. I think people got enough of us last episode, so you don't got to put them through much more of this. What do you want to hear?
I would like to hear Summer Boner by Bernie Nichols.
Summer Boner, that's what you're choosing. So we mentioned it. Let's do Trashed Ambulance, Stalk in the Park. You can hear a double whammy of Robbie. And that'll segue us nicely into his interview. So yeah, let's do some Bernie Nichols and some Trashed Ambulance coming at you.
It was the summer 1990 something. I remember it like yesterday. She told me she was leaving for the country. I felt so broken, all I did was say, so long. I'll see you on the flip side. So long. Decades later, I look back and think of what we had. We'd ride our bikes out to a spot and steal weed from your dad. We almost did it, I was harder than I'd ever been. We made a pact that night that nothing could ever come between our love. You broke me from the inside. Our love. You said that you would be my bride, my bride. You gotta face it, it's time wasted, yeah. Your pretty face was more than just a summer boner. I can't take it, my heart's wasted, yeah. Your pretty face was more than just a summer boner. And I'm wasted, but I still say yeah. Your pretty face was more than just a summer boner. A summer boner. A summer boner. A summer boner. More than just a summer boner. Oh darling, do you remember that night we met? The tide was low and we were high. You lured me in with the sun in your eyes. That sweet, sweet ass. You were more than that. You were special. My heart shattered, torn and tattered. Your pretty face was more than just a summer boner. I gave you my love, I could think I would. Your pretty face was more than just a summer boner. A summer boner, a summer boner. You summer boner more than just a summer boner. Summer boner, a summer boner. A summer boner more than just a summer boner.
I got a boner.
I'm thinking someone spiked the punch last night, and now
around.
All right, Denim Radio, we are here with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Robbie Morön of the Moröns of RFM Productions. And what else is he in? We're going to tell you all about it here in the next 5 minutes. How's it going, Robbie?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Ozone?
Good.
This is a new sensation for me. I haven't done the tag team interview like this, especially when we're not on video or anything. So bear with us. It's hard to pick up on social cues. Like, I know Ozone's frowning right now, but I'm not sure about Robbie. He might be scowling.
It's my first time getting tag teamed as well. So.
We'll be
gentle.
Yeah. We'll be very gentle. All right, so here we go. Robbie Morön, how are you?
Doing good enough.
Good
enough. Life's very hectic these days. As you know, I forgot about the interview. I knew about it all day until about 5 minutes before the interview, and then I just totally spaced on it. You guys had to hunt me down, so now I'm a little off kilter, but I'm good to go.
Most people.
It's the playoffs. The playoffs started today. It totally took over.
Yeah, how are your Flames?
As a Flames fan.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I'm a hockey fan first and a Flames fan second.
I'm a Leafs fan. I get an extra week out of it at least.
Yeah, good for you.
So did Tampa do their little trick of bringing 25 guys off the long-term injury? They're miraculously healed in time for the playoffs.
Just Vegas did this year.
Yeah.
Good old Mark Stone.
Pittsburgh waited too late.
They forgot to make the playoffs.
Yeah, Crosby was always injured 3 weeks before the playoffs and then back in time for playoffs, but not this year.
Oh, I'm not a Penguins guy, so
no, I hate them. I'm a Philly fan, so
awesome. Well, you know what? You could tune into Robbie Morön's hockey network if you want to hear his takes, but we're here to talk about music.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, so you're based out of and born and raised Calgarian. Is that accurate?
I am. Yeah. And I was born and raised Calgarian before it was like normal to be born and raised Calgarian. When I grew up and people found out that I was like born and raised Calgarian, they're like, no way. Nowadays, it's a little more popular because, we had the big boom and then people had kids and now they're all 20 and they're all like, yeah, we were all born and raised in Calgary. But when I was born and raised, it was like, holy shit. That never happened back then.
When were you born and raised? In 1785?
Oh, yeah, about that. Give or take a couple hundred years. I don't know.
Well, that's interesting. Like, what it just like you really saw a population boom then as you grew up.
Oh yeah, I remember like growing up in Calgary was the quiet, like really friendly place, and everybody started moving here, and everybody you talked to had just moved here within the last few years, and they're all, oh, Calgary's so nice, everybody's so nice, and now it's like, fuck. It's not so nice anymore. I'm sorry, it's not the same place I grew up, that's for sure.
Really? Well, it's usually clean. That's one thing I noticed as a non-Calgarian.
Yeah, for sure. I'll give it that. You don't really notice how clean Calgary is until you go to Edmonton or Vancouver. And then you're like, well, yeah, Calgary's pretty clean. Like, not a diss. I love Edmonton and Vancouver as cities, but Calgary's way cleaner than both of them for sure.
Yeah, I noticed that. But you know what? It's a little sterile. That's why it's tough to have good art because everybody's so rich and clean. You need those disgusting junkies to make good art.
Yeah, Calgary is not without its flaws for sure, and especially when it comes to the music scene. I could talk for days about how much I am not very pleased with the music scene here, but yeah, it's clean.
Well, I mean, you definitely produce some pretty well-known, like globally well-known bands from Calgary, I guess. You got the old Belvederes and the Chicks Diggits. I don't know who else would be in that,
for sure.
In that stratosphere.
There is, I would say arguably Calgary has in Western Canada some of, if not the most, I won't say the best, but I would say the most talent when like I have a band list as a promoter of all the towns from basically Saskatchewan over to Vancouver, and you know, the list of really high-end bands, I feel is, man, maybe I'm biased because I live here, but you know, I've really done my research, and Calgary does have a ton of talent here. Problem is there's hardly any venues to play. There's competitions to get on, you know, the one or two decent shows that come through every month or two kind of thing. And, you know, it's just, it's too bad because the talent is here, but the venues are lacking for sure. Yeah. Among other things.
Well, I think Ozone, you were the one that said this before. It's like maybe tit for tat, Edmonton can hang as far as producing good bands, but they all seem to break up in Edmonton. Whereas Calgary, even if they're not doing anything, they don't officially break up. So then
that's very true.
They reemerge 6 months later. And you're like, oh, I thought these guys were dead. But
well, and I feel like Edmonton has the better support system. Edmonton has a lot of good venues and a really tight fan base that come out and support all the bands and stuff. Whereas Calgary, it's not so much, right? Like I can see why a lot of the venues don't want a lot of punk shows anymore because they don't get a lot of draw here. And when they do, they're a pretty tame crowd. Whereas, like, I mean, as far as the Moröns go, when we play in Edmonton, I hate to say it, but it's 10 times better than when we play in Calgary. Like, if we play in Calgary, it better be one of like our personal parties that all our friends and family come out to, because then we know it'll be a rager. But if we just play some random show, for us, it's been okay and good turnouts and stuff, but a relatively mild crowd. Whereas when we go to Edmonton, wherever we play, and we don't have a lot of friends and family out in Edmonton, they just come out and they pack the place and they party and they rage, and it's like, it's night and day different. It's crazy. That's our experience anyways. I can't say, you know, that the whole scene is like that, but that's my experience anyways.
Yeah. Ozone, you got anything to add?
Oh, I'd agree. I mean, in my experience too, yeah, I love both cities. I love living in Calgary and never lived in Edmonton, but yeah, I do find shows in Edmonton just seem to have a lot more people out that you don't know, whereas in Calgary it is you got to rely on family and friends. But
yeah, exactly.
And I mean 10 years ago in Calgary, when I lived there, it seemed to be quite a bit better. But I mean, I myself included, I only went to the bigger shows. So
yeah, exactly. Well, and I remember growing up, like I grew up in the Calgary punk scene, and it was awesome. Like for all ages shows, back in the mid 90s, late 90s, it was so good. The bands were so good. The support, you know, the fans were amazing. The scene was just, I was so lucky to grow up in that time and in this city. But as things kind of changed and stuff, like the music changed, the scene changed, and Calgary started to get that kind of vibe of kind of a bit of a lull. You know, like the people were there, but they didn't really care unless it was, you know, their friends or whatever else, right? And it almost got a little too cliquey for me, so I kind of stepped back for a while.
I guess my only other thought on that is maybe the next generation is already back, though, because I heard the all ages scene, and I've seen the all ages scene in Calgary loves their punk rock and pack venues already. So as soon as they all turn 18, the bar scene might absolutely revive itself again. Here's hoping.
Well, and here's hoping. And you know, I was listening to your first podcast there, and you guys touched on that, and we have started to see it, and you guys touched on it as well, how, you know, it's really grown over the last year or two. Basically since COVID opened up, all of a sudden we have an all ages scene, whereas before COVID there was really not much for it. The all ages scene before COVID was us old guys bringing our 5 to 12-year-old kids out to our shows, right? And that was an all ages show. And now you've actually got, like, when I was a kid going to these all ages shows that I was talking about, I was like, 13, 18 years old kind of thing. And I wasn't going with my parents, and my parents didn't want me going for sure, but it was something for me to do. And now we're starting to see that scene open up again, which I think is very important and very crucial for punk rock to see, those kids of their own minds just getting into it and wanting to be a part of it. Now, the problem I'm seeing with that is that, well, and I'm not seeing it, but I don't know, I'm kind of feeling it, and maybe it's all in my head, but as an old guy, it seems to me like these kids have their own scene now and we're not a part of it kind of thing. But the Moröns are playing one of those all ages shows in about 10 days, so we'll see if anybody gives a shit.
It's almost like there's a generation of gatekeeping punk rockers out there that skipped a generation or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Never.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the old bastards just won't retire. That's a problem. So there was never that void for the next band, the elder millennials to step up.
Yeah. Well, punk rock for life, and I think my generation, anyways. I'm an Xer, and I know a lot of the bands here in Calgary are that same kind of age group, and a lot of them have kids, and they're doing the same thing as I am. They're growing their kids up on punk rock and everything else, and that's good and stuff. But as we mentioned, there's that kind of middle range in the middle there that we can't really help with. So to see them doing it on their own is awesome. To see them kind of not really care about the older guys, it's awesome too, right? It sucks for us older guys. We're like, hey, what about us? Do you want to hear my band? And they're like, no, man, you're old. We want to hear new stuff. And we want to hear the younger kids. We want to hear kids our own age. And that's awesome too in its own regard. So I'm really happy to see it, and I hope it sticks around. And I do hope that that generation will also embrace some of the older bands too, because as of yet I haven't really seen it. So there almost seems to be a bit of a divide, I guess. But yeah, who knows? We'll see. It's still early to tell.
Well, I'm just looking back to my own life, and like I grew up in the sticks in Saskatchewan, and there was a couple shows that I remember. Like I'm not exactly sure how old I would have been. It would have been in the 90s for sure. Like too young to be drinking, but I think I was sneaking beers. But like Savage Henry, all these bands like that came to my little town and put on a show at a hall, and that was like the definitive moment where I'm picking up a guitar. Me and my buddies wrote terrible Bad Religion ripoffs in a garage that never went anywhere. But it was kind of cool because you're talking about all ages. I mean, that we're going to get into this later, but your Sonar that you hosted last year, there were some younger kids there that came up and were all stoked. And I remember one of them, followed us on Instagram and then had messaged us and said, I'm putting a band together. I was so stoked about, going to that concert was so awesome. And then that person actually was playing in a band that we played with earlier this year. So it's like, oh, they actually did it. Yeah. So it's, I think it does make a difference. Great. Like being exposed to cool music like that, I mean, you can show your kids, but to see it from somebody else that's not your parents probably makes it cooler, right?
For sure.
Like I listen to music with my dad all the time when I was a kid. And I still love a lot of it, like the old Guess Who and shit. But I mean, once I found punk and stuff, it's like, okay, this is for me. Like this is what I'm supposed to listen to.
Yeah, exactly. My only hope is that I don't scare my kids away from punk rock and they think it's just like a dad rock thing, right?
Uncle rock.
Yeah.
You kids think this mumble rap's cool? Get a load of this.
Check out my demo.
This Chai Pig guy, he was closer to a god than a man. Are you sure, Dad?
He was.
You just gotta trust me, all right?
You should have seen
it. You should have seen fucking puffed wheat flying everywhere. It's like pennies from heaven.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's
awesome. Yes, in a few days.
Well, yeah, we're not going to dive too deep into the Morön stuff today because I got a sneaking suspicion that you might want all hands on deck, or at least a few more hands on deck from me when we do that interview, which will be coming.
You can try, but they always send me.
Well, I saw that you guys did one. Was it Gigi that came on with you, or is it Johnny?
No, Johnny. Yeah, we did the Power of Rock podcast or
Powered
whatever.
by Rock.
Powered by Rock. Sorry, the power of Rock. Powered by Rock. Same
Power
thing.
of Rock.
Well, not same thing, but yeah, same idea. Yeah, and they were all kind of like, no thanks, no thanks, no thanks. And Johnny was like, yeah, I do it. I was like, sweet, I don't have to do it for myself finally.
That
So,
surprised me that
so yeah, well,
JC didn't want to do it. He likes the sound of his own voice, doesn't he?
JC's a pretty busy guy though.
True. He's a hardworking fella.
He's got a lot. He is, and he's got a lot going on. So he's he's tough to schedule. I think was the problem with that one. So
we'll try to get him on. We'll try to broach his schedule.
He might have been away for work or something at the time. I don't remember. I know Davey and Gigi are just kind of like, meh, you do it. They've always been that way. You know, anytime we had an interview, just you go ahead, and they'll be like, well, should we always have the singer? It seems kind of cliche. And they're like, yeah, whatever.
Sounds like Ozone. So naturally, I tied him up and made him do this show with me. He's
good.
He's hating every minute of it, but he's doing it.
He's way more, yeah, he's way more entertaining. Shots fired.
So Riley, the drummer of Trash, was listening. And he's like, Ozone, you sound grumpy. You're always grumpy. His reputation.
Wasn't even supposed to be here today.
He definitely didn't want to. He's like, do I have to be on all of them? I'm like, you don't have to, but I'll be a little disappointed. I might cry.
Until I missed the first one.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Well, I'm sure there'll be some that he's just not available or whatever, and the show must go on. But for the most part, we're going to try to give it a different dynamic than the shows I've done in the past, where just my nasally voice. Yeah, exactly. Give the listeners a break. Fuck, so much nasal. Sinuses.
I don't know.
Well, let's back up the truck here. So you're
back the truck up.
You got a couple projects involved with this label. Let's talk about your solo project. And
sure.
Why did you create it, and why are you excited about it?
So the Robbie Morön solo project was originally just overflow from stuff I would write for the Moröns, and there was just too much, especially come COVID time. I wrote so much music. So the Moröns guys, I mean, if you know Davey and you know Gigi, they're very talented guitar players. And now we got Johnny in there too. He's a very talented bass player, and JC's obviously a good drummer and talented drummer. When the Moröns started, it was me just writing. I wrote all the music and handed it out, and the guys just kind of made it their own thing from there and took it and made it better. So I still write those songs, but it doesn't seem fair now to turn around and give all these guys my shitty little demos and be like, yeah, make this good, and they'll do it for a bunch and stuff, but we're at that point now where, these guys want to write some music too and stuff. So, and I don't slow down. I've always got a million ideas. So I'm always writing. I'm what they say, I write for the trash can. I just get it down first, and then I tweak it a little bit, and then I throw it out there. And so there's just too much of it, and a lot of it just didn't fit the style that the rest of the band wanted to go. And I'm not a asshole dictator, no matter what Ozone says about me. I'm actually a very nice guy, and
he's on to us.
So yeah. No, so
who's the leak?
So it's basically just overflow of all my my mind diarrhea, and I write and record it, and I got nothing else to do with it, and I like the songs a lot. They're very cheesy and stupid, which is very much who I am and who I aspire to be, and So then when you guys are like, yeah, sure, we'll help you with it, and I can send it to you guys, and you guys can bounce mixes off me and then help me send it out to different people to get their takes on it and hear what they have to say. The feedback's always been pretty positive on it, which I get a kick out of. So I like to hear that, because especially when it's something so personal, right? And it's like I said, it's pretty stupid. So you're throwing yourself out there, like, if somebody wanted to take take a piss on me, they could do it very easily with my music. So to have good feedback on it has been really nice.
So when you originally envisioned the Moröns, like obviously you can tell that there's based on the name that you have some influences. Was that like this was the 3-chord stripped down punk rock what you had in mind initially, and it just kind of morphed into more of a skate punk, technical, faster band, or how did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, my vision for the Moröns was kind of a 50-50 of NoFX and the Ramones. I wanted the catchiness of the Ramones, with the hooks and the simplicity of the Ramones, but with the speed and the angst of NoFX and kind of snot-nosed style of NoFX kind of thing. So that was kind of a collaboration. The Moröns name actually came from the Morön Brothers song. It used to be a theme song for a rock and roll bingo show I did. And then that rock and roll bingo show turned into a whole thing where we dressed up like bangers and called ourselves the Moröns. And I wrote 4 songs about rock and roll bingo. And yeah.
Okay, I remember that song. I didn't know it was based on a true event.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Bingo Baby was about the host and how all the girls wanted to be with him because he's such a cool guy because he's hosting Rock and Roll Bingo. And then Blackout was originally written about, in bingo when you get a blackout bingo. Bullshit was originally written about when somebody calls bingo and they don't have bingo and you all yell bullshit. And I feel like there was one other one. Actually, it was 4 songs that I had, and I can't think of what the other one was. But yeah. And then when we actually had a band doing stuff, we didn't want to play out the bingo thing, so we kept Bingo Baby and changed the others to other things. So yeah.
The more you know. The more you know.
Yeah, that's not what I thought Blackout was about.
Yeah, originally it was like Daubers High, yeah, put them in the sky. It's balls to the wall, bingo baby. It was
that's hilarious.
And then I just altered it all about, getting shittered and fucked up. And same thing with Oh No Bullshit was same idea, just not about bingo, right? Instead of being full of shit about your bingo card, now you're just an asshole and you're full of shit. So it was very easy to transform them into regular punk songs. Yeah.
Bingo is relatable. Makes sense.
Yeah. It's funny how close the two really are and how well they go together.
To be fair, that's probably a niche that hasn't really been tackled. There's baseball
it's
punks,
true,
hockey
right?
punks. I've never heard of bingo
We'd
punks.
We'd be the Hanson brothers of bingo. Yeah.
Man, think of the merchandising that would be possible.
Oh yeah.
I mean, your crowd might not be what you're after. It might be literally as you're playing, but
yeah.
That's amazing. Well, since I don't want to go too deep into the Moröns, are you able to talk about your band that you're hoping to start? I know it's
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we got stuff going. We've got almost a full band. We've got about 10 songs written. We've got a set ready to go. We just need a drummer. So if any drummers out there are looking for something fun to do, or can even fill in for, maybe a show or two while we get our feet wet, and then that would be cool. But another thing that I wanted to do, again, aging myself here, before me first in the Gimme Gimmes, I was still a punk rocker. And I had this great idea. You remember back in the day, you'd get a punk CD, a skate punk CD, and you'd look through the titles and just looking for that cover tune. So it was like, oh man, cover tunes were like, you just couldn't wait to hear the cover tune because every punk band had to have a cover tune. And then so I was like, one day I'm just going to start a band and it's going to be all punk covers. It's going to be awesome. And then I came up with the name the Golden Loadies, and we do all 50s and 60s covers, and the bass player would have an upright bass, and we'd all have like the big rockadoodle haircuts. And sing like Elvis and shit. I'm like, yeah, that'd be so rad. And then it never came to fruition, obviously. And then Me First and the Gimme Gimmes came out, and I was like, well, guess that idea is completely ruined. But so now I've decided to do it anyways, not to the extent that I always thought I would when I was a kid. But so it's the Golden Loadies, and it's all punk covers, but we do modern stuff and old stuff, so it's not just 50s, 60s, and we do it a lot more, say, like, I don't know, maybe Screeching Weasel, boogada 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 esque. So it's not all, cleaned up like skate punk, and it's not like hardcore either, but it's kind of in the middle, I guess. Very simple stuff, but very catchy. And then they're all like, great tunes that you know and love, kind of thing, done with a classic punk rock edge.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm loving it.
Well, and they, even after Me First, there's that band now that they just seem to do like Disney covers, or if there's like
Punk Rock Factory.
Yeah, which is like, I don't even want to don't get me started on that name. Like,
yeah, right.
But I mean, they're obviously making a splash because they got millions and millions of plays on every one of their songs. But
yeah, and they took it the other way, right? Like they took, like, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes are very talented and very polished band. But then when you hear Punk Rock Factory, they've taken it that extra level where they're, getting a lot more technical with it and even more clean and everything else. And it's awesome. I love it. My kids love it. And they're awesome musicians and stuff. But, there's still got to be that classic old school punk in my eyes, right? Like we can't forget about the old 3-chord and not as polished, really edgy, basic punk rock. For me, that's always very important. Like, I love the new stuff, I love the polished stuff, but the day that we lose all that classic, dingy, just fun and simple but in your face stuff, right? That's important to me.
Definitely, man. Well, on that note, let's take a little bit of a musical interlude here. So we kind of talked offline about what you wanted to hear. Let's see if you remember. What do you want to hear?
I wrote it down. I wrote it down. Which one am I supposed to be asking for, though? Mine?
It's your choice, man. Dealer's choice. Hit us with whatever you want.
Well, I'd like to start with the Burning Nickels track. The Christmas track. I know it's far from Christmas, but I absolutely love this track. It's one of my favorite tracks that we did when I was playing on the Burning Nickels stuff there. Speaking of cover tunes, hey, nice segue.
There you go. It's almost like I planned this.
Yeah, that was well done. Yeah, I can't remember. It's an old country song. Do you remember who did it originally?
Of course not. Now that I'll add it in.
The pressure's in, yeah. Some old country guy.
What was it?
Roy. Not Roy Rogers, but
is it Roy Rogers? I don't know. Roger Miller.
We're close. Roger Miller. There you go. Yes, yeah. Roger Miller. Yeah.
I know we actually bought the cover license for it. So that's how it's a raw.
So it wasn't Nana You guys never,
no, you guys never told me it was a cover. So you sent me the track. I put the bass line down on it, and then I did some backups on it, and then you guys took it from there, and then you published it and everything else. I was like, this is such an awesome track, man. Like, you guys wrote such a good tune here. I had no idea. And then, so I was sitting there listening to it. It came on like my Christmas list at Christmas time. And my father-in-law is like, whoa, who's this? I'm like, this is a side project I've been working with, Burning Nickels, Toy Trains. He's like, oh, what made you decide to cover this track? I'm like, what? Yeah, this is a classic Christmas song. I was like, oh.
You know what?
I had no idea.
You know what's funny though is you're not alone. Like, that was like a staple, like where I grew up, and everyone, we all knew it. But then I don't know if Ozone knew it before I
did. I was the same boat. I didn't really know, and then I was walking through the mall or something one day, and I'm like, I know this song. This song is really familiar. What is it? Oh.
I think it's a country thing because my family didn't listen to any country growing up hardly, and so we never heard that stuff. And my wife's side of the family, they listen to a lot of country, so especially the classic country, right? So they introduced me to a ton of like new Christmas stuff at Christmas time since I've been with my wife, right? Of country music, that country Christmas classics that I'd never heard, and they're like, "You've never heard this? Ooh."
You've never heard this?
You've never heard Thistlehair the Christmas Bear?
Okay, I definitely have never heard that.
Oh,
I didn't
it's a
even realize that
staple
was
now.
country.
It's-
I think we just sung it
Yeah.
in school, is where I knew it.
Really, the Roger Miller one?
I don't know. I remember singing it as a kid.
Huh.
I don't know. I didn't realize it was country. Maybe it was the Nana version.
Yeah.
Is it Nana or Nana? Mascuri. I don't know.
Oh, she did one too? I thought you were just being sarcastic.
No, I typed in old toy trains into my Google and it's the first thing that comes up.
Huh, that's got to be way different.
But it does say Roger Miller. Oh, you want to switch it up?
Good
You want to play the Nana one or you want to play the Burning Nichols?
No, you play that one on the show, and while you're doing that, I'm going to go and listen to the Nana Mascuri one.
All right. So here we go. This is Burning Nichols. Old Toy Trains.
Oh boy, it's Santa!
Ho, ho, ho.
Santa has something very special in his sack for you two.
And we're back. All right. So yeah, my apologies to Robbie. We talked all about Cobwebs and the people that played on it, but we forgot to mention he was playing bass on it. But I was saying there was guest stars because you've been a full-fledged member for a few albums by now. So, you know, I guess I didn't feel like I needed to comment on you directly, but my bad.
I always still feel like a guest.
Well, yeah, we that was from Old Toy Trains. Was from the Who songer we did, containing that and Rum Nogs. And Rum Nogs is a bit of a Spotify Christmas darling. It goes on a bit of a run every Yuletide season. We see the plays go up by like 10,000. So that's
making that money.
That's all we
It's
need.
on punk Christmas every year, pays the bills. It's all right.
Which is sweet because it's, you know, I mean, Old Toy Trains is awesome too, but you know, we wouldn't make as much money off that since we didn't write it. But
yeah, you wouldn't get any of the
yeah. So you know, it keeps the lights
Could it
on
have
here.
been one of our real bands getting on it? No, but
yeah, right.
I think that's the last time we really got playlisted for any of our bands. It's like
That's how Spotify works. Does this band play live? No. Boom, perfect. Put it in the algorithm.
Yeah. Did they break up? Yeah, sweet.
make sure you really push this song. This is a very important and relevant band in this day and age.
They'll be so pissed now. Let's go.
Gets taken off this year. Oh,
Yeah.
They're probably listening, fuckers. Yeah, check if you haven't checked that out. It's called Cool Tide Carols, and the artwork is what's his last name? Can't remember. It's the dude who plays Archie Bunker. His name is
Carol Tanning. Carol.
Man, we should have did our research before we run our mouths.
I got my Google here. Give me a sec.
Archie Bunker, played by Carol O'Connor.
Carol O'Connor. See, I was close. Tanning.
Were you?
Channing.
Tanning close.
O'Connor.
Pretty much spot on.
Yeah. I got Carol right.
So we're hoping to put that out on 8-track one of these Christmases. We just haven't gotten around to it, you know. But yeah. Well, I think we, like I said, for the 800th time, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Moröns on an episode down the road. But let's talk about your other venture, RFM Productions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what is it, and what have you done, and what do you plan to do?
Yeah, it's I don't know, a hobby where I like to put on parties. I've been putting on parties for over 20 years. And then I like to put on punk rock parties for the last 4 or 5 years, and I feel like I was doing a pretty good job. Most of the shows I put on have a decent turnout. The bands get paid pretty well, not as much as they should be paid, unfortunately, but that's do what we can. But bands get paid reasonable. Bands have a good time. People have a good time. I really like to focus on, it's more of, I like to throw parties, right? Like, I think that's important. I as much as it's, a promotion company and I'm a promoter and all that stuff, for me, bottom line is I just want to throw parties. And if you want to come play a party, then hit me up. And if I got something that we can fit you on, I will. And if you want to come out and have a good time, then come party with us, because that's what we're doing.
Oh, yeah. So just to clarify, the RFM stands for Robbie effing Morön.
That's correct. Yeah.
I thought it was Robbie Fun.
Fun
No,
boy.
got nothing.
Fun man. Robbie Funny Man. Well, that's cool. So
I'll let you use your imagination.
So
I couldn't think of any M words.
I don't want to get canceled. We got to keep it above the belt here. So, as I previously mentioned, we're going to talk about your upcoming one that we're all excited about. But so last September, we all headed out to High River Brewing, and you put on a good old party there. With how many bands did you end up with for the Sonar Music Fest?
I believe it was 9.
9 bands in this economy.
9 bands. Yeah. And the bands got, reasonably well paid for a half-hour set, and with 9 bands kind of thing. And everybody seemed to have a really good time. I know I had a blast, and we had a party out in the parking lot afterwards. Gigi had the barbecue going and cooking up hot dogs and burgers after the show, and everybody's hanging out, having a good time. It was a blast.
Yeah, so for the folks at home that might not be familiar with High River, Alberta, how did shows start happening out there?
I couldn't tell you, because they've been doing it long before I started going out to shows there. But I started going out there 2 years ago when COVID broke and they started having shows out there. Now I live in South Calgary, and I think one of the biggest things that hold people back from High River is they feel like it's so far out there. But it's only a 20-minute drive from Calgary. It's not that far. Like you could drive from one area of Calgary to another area of Calgary in, like today, for example, I worked, it was a 34-minute drive to get to my first spot today from my house. I could have gone to High River and sat down and had half a beer in that time. Like it's crazy. But people, hear High River and they're like, oh, it's too far. I'm not going to High River. But you're missing out, man, because it's a great venue, great people, great beer. They do a lot for the music scene for Calgary and area, and put on tons of shows. They got, like I said, a pretty good venue for it, especially come summertime. Now they've been asked to cut down the amount of shows this year just for sound purposes, but they're doing a lot to work with the town in that regard as well too. So they shouldn't have. They had some issues with some people complaining about the sound, like a few blocks away or whatever. So they've made some adjustments to fix that. And yeah, so there'll be some awesome parties out there. And of course, our first big one, first big one for them, and my first big one of the year, will be Pumpkin Donuts on Saturday, June 10th.
Pumpkin Donuts. So, I mean, I'm gonna plead ignorance here, even though I know everything that's going on. But should we expect punk rock and donuts? Is that a wise thing?
Yes.
To expect?
Yes. That's another one that goes back to my. I'm really just living out my childhood here. Now that I'm old enough and have the resources, I'm doing all the things that I thought of as a kid. I don't remember where it came from, but I came up with the name Pumpkin Donuts instead of Dunkin' Donuts, and said, someday I'm going to put on a music festival called Pumpkin Donuts. And, it was kind of slapped together this year. I didn't have as much time as I wanted to put into it, but I kept trying to plan it for the last 2 years, and different things just kept getting in the way and everything else. So this year I was just like, you know what? Nothing's stopping me. I'm just it's actually on my birthday. So I made it that was my goal, is on my birthday this year, we're doing Pumpkin Donuts come, I won't say hell or high water, because that's not a good term to use for High River. Come whatever. Yeah, exactly. We're doing it anyways. Well, unless it floods, but God help. They put a lot of stuff into place where they hopefully shouldn't have those issues anymore after the last one. So should be good to go in that regard. But yeah, so we're going through with it. We've got I think it was 7 bands. Yeah. And we've got Another Joe playing their first show in over 20 years. If you don't know Another Joe, look them up, man. They're awesome. They used to tour a lot with Gob. That's when I saw them when I was a younger man. I've actually got a handbill on my wall here that I'm looking at right now. It was at the old Black Lounge in the university. It was Gob, Another Joe, Showdown 76, and Belvedere.
Oh, wow.
1997.
Damn.
Sponsored by Skater Sports Shop.
Sweet. Yeah,
yeah.
I never got to see Another Joe. Definitely.
Oh, they're great.
Obviously found their music through Gob as a kid, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody had that split or.
Yeah.
Whatever.
As Seen on TV is fantastic split.
Yeah.
Like Gob and Another Joe. It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Pee Into the Wind, I think I had a friend who had that.
Yeah.
Or something, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Somehow I had to eat at Bernie's. I remember having that song, and it was just kind of one in our regular rotation when we were kids. So. Yeah, no, for sure. It's they were an awesome band, and they're back together. They just put out an awesome album, and they agreed to do their first show. Like they're from Vancouver, and they're playing their first show at our Pumpkin Donuts Festival in High River. So, and they've been awesome about the whole thing. Just super stoked about it, and we ran into a bunch of speed bumps along the way where I was questioning whether or not it was going to be worth it and everything else. And John just kept saying, "No, man, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it." So he was a big part of me actually following through with it this year. So kudos to them, man. And it's going to be an awesome time. Yeah, no kidding. Well, since it's already common knowledge, Trash Ambulance will be there as well. So we're pretty excited to.
Yeah, the lineup's great. We got you guys, Another Joe, Moröns, and then we got Teacup Romance coming down from Edmonton, High End Denim favorites, Short Straps, Regal Fowl, and What am I missing?
That's all. It's on the poster, I think.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely a deadly lineup for sure. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. And like I
Can't go
said,
wrong
we
with
got donuts too,
pumpkin donuts.
right? Yeah, free donuts with ticket purchase. So
Yeah, tell
we'll
us
get your tickets.
how do the donuts come into play? Where are the donuts from?
I don't know yet.
That's an afterthought.
No, honestly, it was my original idea was to find a local independent donut vendor that would be pumped about it and want to do it. And every donut vendor I talked to, they're like, nah, not interested. I was like, okay. Run into a bit of a snafu. So okay, so I've been looking at different independent bakeries that don't really care about the sponsorship side of it or anything else. So I'll just go support one of these independent bakeries. I'll give them enough notice and stuff, but I'll just go in and be like, hey, on Saturday, June 10th, I need like 500 donuts assorted, please. And,
Donut Mill.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, you know what? I never reached out to Donut Mill. I should actually. I was thinking all local. I was thinking all local, right? But and they're big enough, so I'm curious to see if they'll give me the time of day. But I'll reach out to them for sure. Because we stop there every time going through.
Yeah.
If we're the one show we played in High River, and then every time we go to Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I go there way too often.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't show, man. You're ripped.
Well,
Try. Because I go there on my bike.
There you go. Got to justify it.
Yeah.
well, speaking of sponsors, High End Denim Records is actually very proud to be a sponsor of Punkin' Donuts. Basically,
Yes, and we
because
appreciate it.
Robbie held me down and smacked me in the belly till I agreed. But no, we're doing it.
I offered you 2 Boston cream and 1 jelly filled, and you were like, "Oh, okay."
You had me at Boston.
How did you know? Oh, because I literally love every kind of donut. That's how. Hence my physique. But yeah, I guess if anybody else is listening or knows anyone that would want to get on board, I mean, I'm sure you'll welcome anybody aboard to help make this a success and hopefully an annual thing, right? Is that what you're hoping to do?
Yeah, so we do Sonar in the late summer, and we're hoping to do Punkin' Donuts every year in the early summer. So we'll have the 2 festivals. It seems kind of crazy to do 2 festivals, I guess, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, they're 2 totally different kind of festivals, and in Calgary, you only really have like 3 months to do them, so why not?
If you want to do them outdoors, yeah. It's just
Yeah.
Summers go away pretty quickly around these parts, so
Yeah.
don't really have the luxury. And then there's like probably a month where everybody's gone camping or gone doing whatever. So you could try to host something then, but it's gonna be hit or miss.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're gonna have different bands at both festivals, right? By design, you're not.
So no. One of the things that I'll make sure is that, if you played Sonar last year, you won't play it this year. And if you played Punkin' Donuts this year, you won't play Sonar this year, and vice versa and stuff. So we want to try and mix up the bands as much as possible, right? We don't want the same bands playing every year. And then if you know me, I'm strict on my radius clauses. Like, we don't want the same bands that are playing at the other festival up the road a week later or 2 weeks before and everything else, right? We want our festivals to be special in the sense that, when they see the lineup, they're like, yeah, I haven't seen those guys in a while. So we try to make it as special as we can for everybody.
Definitely, yeah. Awesome, man. Well, got anything else that you need to hype before we go into the best part of the show and then let you go on with your night?
No, I think we got it all covered. I think we're good.
Hell yeah, man. So yeah, if everybody's
sorry, I should mention too, what is it? The May long, no, not the May long weekend, May 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. May 5th in Edmonton for all our Edmonton friends. We got Cinco de Mayo, Moröns with our good friends, the Fomites and Let's Go, coming from Vancouver and Kamloops, respectively, where RFM is helping them put on their little mini Alberta tour here. So we'd love to get some support out. If you haven't checked them out yet, check out the Fomites and Let's Go, two really good punk bands. Maybe not super well heard of, but they should be, especially if you're into the underground punk scene. Check them out. Come out to one of the shows. Like I said, May 5th in Edmonton. May 6th, they're in Calgary at Burns with high-end denim short straps. And then, oh, sorry, there was somebody else on that. Who do we have on that? Oh, yeah, Apollo Spitfire from Edmonton is playing the Edmonton and Calgary show as well, too, and they just rip. And then Sunday at High River Brewing Company, we've got Fomites, Let's Go, and as you announced last week, High-End Denim's Upside Down Man. So that should be a good show, too.
Still haven't done it officially, but it's a little treat for those of you that are listening to this podcast.
We're just announcing it every podcast, yeah.
And
Just keep it going.
I'm really excited to hear that. Oh, how's it going, Steve?
Yeah, you better interview them next podcast, I guess.
I was chatting with them today, and they got their first mixes for their new album, and I'm very excited to hear
Oh, they
it,
did finally. Good, yeah. I was just talking to Steve the other day, or like last week, and he didn't have them yet. He's like, ah. But yeah, that's going to be a good album. That's going to be a great album if you haven't heard those guys yet.
Yeah, definitely excited. We had them down here in Red Deer last December, and it was great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what those guys get up to this year.
Yeah, solid band for sure. That album's going to be, and they're recording with Casey and stuff, so they're in good hands. It's going to be good.
Hell yeah! Well, let's roll into the second last song you're going to choose, and we're gonna let you go home or go off the computer and go to bed. So, what do you want to hear?
I'd like to hear my favorite Robbie Morön song, and that's Wheelie, Poppin, Studball.
All right, here we go. Wheelie, Poppin, Studball. All right, Robbie Morön, welcome to the pressure cooker. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, the timer will begin when I finish asking this first question. Who is the best Ramon?
Joey.
Tacos or burritos?
Tacos.
What's the best kind of donut?
Boston cream.
Who's the smelliest Morön?
I don't know. Pass. Your mom.
Gatorade or Powerade?
Water.
What's the third biggest city in Canada?
Calgary?
Simpsons or Futurama?
Simpsons.
What's your most hated NHL team?
Edmonton.
What's the best queer song?
See you later, Fuckface.
Right, finish this lyric. I'm going to a place where all the tough guys go.
I don't know.
You don't like
I
social
don't think
D?
you're in key.
Fuck. I thought you were a social D guy. All right, grapes or cantaloupe?
Grapes.
And there we go. There we go.
Yeah, I'm only like I like half social distortion stuff a lot, and then the other half I find kind of boring. So
That's prison.
what track was that?
Prison Bound.
Oh yeah,
Going to a place where all the tough guys go and come out even tougher. I thought you would have known that one. It just seemed like it would be up your alley, but I guess not. That's an old one. That's like their Mother's Little Monster era.
Yeah. I've heard it, but not enough times that I recognize it.
Well, fine. Maybe I won't continue this. Finish this lyric one. I didn't want to make it too obvious. Awesome.
No, you got me.
And the third biggest city in Canada is Vancouver. So now you know.
So it's Toronto,
Montreal, Vancouver.
Montreal. I always forget about Montreal. Sorry, Montreal. Sorry. I'm like Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary. That's how I go. Oh yeah, there's Montreal. My bad.
I wouldn't have teed you up with the Calgary answer though. Come on.
I know. Well, I was like, oh yeah, he's trying to fuck with me.
It was misdirection at its finest.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, you can play us off with your final song, and you can go to bed.
Okay, thanks.
What do you want to hear?
See you in the funny papers.
Is that what you want to hear?
Well, you already played Wheelie?
Wheelie's been played, yeah.
Okay, well, let's go with my staple then. Let's go with the queer See You Later, Fuckface.
All righty. Here we go. See you later, Fuckface. See you in the funny papers.
See you in the funny papers. Fuck you.
Perfect ending. And we're out.
Trouble, but again looking for me. I may not have any muscles, but I can move like Bruce Lee. So when a bunch of these pussies started beating up on my plans, I left the stage and I ain't too late. I am. See you later, fuckface. See you later, fuckface. See you in the funny pages. Fuck you. See you later, fuckface. See you later, fuckface. We hate you. One like it was a sight to behold. I fell on top of a table. It broke a couple of bones. One of the mother lord's girlfriends kicked me right in the family jewels. I took the one in the eye and said, "Fuck you." See you later, fuckface. See you later, fuckface. See you in the funny pages. Fuck you. See you later, fuckface. See you later, fuckface. We hate you. See you later, fuckface. See you in the funny pages. Fuck you. See you later, fuckface. See you later, fuckface. We hate you. See you later, fuckface. See you later, fuckface. See you in the funny pages. Fuck you. See you later, fuckface. See you later, fuckface. We hate you. We hate you. We hate you tonight.
This is Robbie Morön, and you're listening to Denim Radio on the internet.
All right. Well, thanks, Robbie, for choosing that song. And never thought I'd say it out loud, but the Queers are actually going to be in friggin' Red Deer, Alberta on June something or other with Teenage Ball Rocket. So, yeah, make sure you head down to Bo's Bar and Stage if you haven't got tickets yet, because that'll be pretty cool. But, yeah, thanks, Robbie, for spending some time with us. I think it was a pretty insightful interview. If you didn't know what he was all about, hopefully now you do. And hopefully you don't go running for the hills, because I think he brings a lot to the label and to the scene with the shows he books and the music he puts out. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, so that's about it. I mean, this is another doozy of an episode. I think we're gonna kind of wrap it up. But how do you want to play this episode off?
There's been one album I've been listening to nonstop since it came out this summer, and that's the Sick Waiting album, and I love the track One Fell Swoop. So I'd like to hear that.
All right, so we're gonna listen to some Sick Waiting, and we will see you guys again when we see you. This has been Josh and Ozone on Denim Radio.
Keep in mind I'm not examining the common man. I'm studying a short-stop thumb, the world in the palm of a hand. I can't explain all my vices, but I can one. I get up on accepting my compulsions, and I only see the simmering caveat. In everybody else's good will I walk the line, and the biggest riddle of all time. And in one fell swoop, killed the reasons all the rhythm died. She wasn't old, the kind of girl you never know. And in one fell swoop, I left a little, but I let her go. With a little luck, the deal struck and we regained the touch. Never mind the callous kind of lives we chose not to overcome. And given we were kidding when we thought that apology would never be the soundtrack, we just put out what we're getting back. The fire for the fact I walked a line in the biggest swindle of all time. And in one fell swoop, killed the reasons all the rhythm died. She wasn't old, the kind of girl you never know. And in one fell swoop, I left a little, but I let her go. I walked the line, the biggest swindle of all time. And in one fell swoop, killed the reason why the rhythm died. She wasn't old, the kind of girl you never know. And in one fell swoop, I left a little, but I let her go.
Like, you've never heard this?